questions here, John, about how the two teams got here.
Well, as often is the case this time of year, upsets. Marshall, the number 6 seed in this tournament. They make it to the finals. East Tennessee State, they're number 4. The top 3 seeds, well, they're at home right now. These two teams will play for the automatic NCAA tournament bid.
Coach Rick Huckabee of Marshall, he's been here before. 3 championships in 5 years. He has not been associated with a loser in 22 years of coaching. Coach Les Robinson, the dean of Southern Conference coaches, 20 years in the league, 16 as a head coach, still looking for his first championship win. The tap controlled by the Thundering Herd.
East Tennessee State, they're coming out in man. Look for them to go to multiple defenses. They want to give John Taft and the rest of the Marshall players a different look. Keep them off balance.
Rowland misses. The basketball goes out of bounds and will go to East Tennessee State. The Buccaneers beat Citadel and UT Chattanooga, the regular season champion and top seed to get here. Boy, what a game they had yesterday. A 3-point Buccaneer victory.
Marshall will open up in tough man-to-man. As we talked about early on, the defensive intensity for Marshall is important.
And you just mentioned that. Rowland with a block off the shot by Talford. Watch John Taft work. Cunningham is open. Switch.
Nice bucket that time by Cunningham. Taft made the penetration. East Tennessee State had to cover him, and he canned the open shot.
Alvin West with the ball. Dennis is open. Slapped out of his hands, out of bounds, and East Tennessee State gets it back.
Randy Dennis gives you a quick look at 6'11". He can put it on the floor and go to the hole. Very agile for a big man.
There's Rick Huckabee. Boy, he does not like to lose. He's 22 years. His assistant coach to Dale Brown, several years at LSU. Great young coach.
Really credits Dale Brown with a lot of his ideas and thoughts. Really close to Dale Brown at LSU.
There's a guy to watch, Keith Jennings. They call him Mr. And a traveling violation. Alvin West shuffled his feet. Turnover gives it to Marshall.
East Tennessee State opening up with a little token pressure.
John Taft with the ball. He's a worker. There's a shot by Taft. Too hard. Bouncing off the head of Andre Cunningham into the hands of Marty Story. There's a lob to Talford for the slam. What an athlete, Calvin Talford.
Well, we wanted to talk about him. You mentioned he is an athlete. He's a professional baseball player in the offseason, and you get a great look at the athletic ability he had on that alley-oop.
There's Omar Rowland in the middle. They're all over him, and he traveled. Great interior defense by the Buccaneers right there on Rowland.
East Tennessee State that time did a good job of collapsing down on the big man.
18:30 to go first half. All tied at 2. Baseline goes Story, but a blocking foul against Marshall's Gary Strickland, his first, and the first foul on anybody in this game.
That time Strickland allowed Story the baseline, and if you're a defensive player, that's a cardinal mistake. You can't allow the offensive man to have the baseline.
Story was not expected to start this game, but he's in there in place of Major Gear. Story will inbound to Mr. Jennings. Dennis from outside. Yes, and East Tennessee with its first lead.
Well, we saw him drive earlier in the game. Now you get a good idea of his range.
Here's John Taft. Picked up by Talford. That's right. Humphrey. Stolen away. Here's Talford. This should be interesting. Talford against Taft. What a shot. He missed it. Story is there. He got it.
Nice follow-up by Story. He didn't count on the basket going in automatically. And because he stayed with it, he got 2 points.
There's Calvin Talford. Boy, Taft did a great job getting back that time, but Story was right there for the follow.
He also did a nice job of avoiding the foul. You're going to get a good look at the replay here. Look at Talford. He's going to take it all the way. Now watch Taft. He's not in position. Good job. He backs off. And you're going to see Story come right back with a follow-up.
Show you how fast-paced this game is. While we looked at the replay, John Taft scores for Marshall at 6-4.
Marshall certainly wants him to get involved in the basketball game on the offensive end.
Keith Jennings bumped by Andre Cunningham of Marshall. That'll be his first and the second foul on the Thundering Herd this half.
Another interesting matchup right here. You're going to see the matchup right here. Jennings too quick this time on Cunningham. He's out of position. But Cunningham's got a lot of responsibility to stop the penetration of Mr. Jennings in this ball game.
East Tennessee plays it in. There's Dennis. He got it over Rowland.
Randy, that's why I don't like the man-to-man on the inbounds pass. That time, Dennis just beat the man back door and got an easy 2 points.
8-4 East Tennessee. Taft. Swish.
You knew it was just a matter of time. Once the first one went, you know there are going to be many more.
What a player. John Taft, the Southern Conference Player of the Year.
Taft and Rowland Dennison rolling, battling down low for position.
There's a steal by Cunningham of Marshall. The Herd looking to tie here. And Alvin West is on Taft. 3 players have guarded Taft in the first 3.5 minutes of this game.
We also look for some gimmick defenses possibly to slow him and wear him down.
Rowland stripped of the ball by Story on a great play. And already East Tennessee is establishing themselves inside against Rowland.
But Rowland's put the basketball on the floor twice, and he's lost it both times.
Alvin West misses. And a foul against Gary Strickland, or is it Rowland? I believe it's Strickland. If that's on him, it's 2.
Strickland, another member of that great athletic ability that we've got on both teams tonight. Shot's going to go up, and see if Strickland's out of position. You'll see him come in right there. See, he's out of position. Story had the position. Strickland created the foul.
Inbounds to Mr. Jennings. Talford almost bumped by Humphrey. Talford will pull out. Lobs it to West on the right side. 16:28 to go. And on the line is Alvin West on another turnover. These two teams push the ball up the floor so much, you're going to see a lot of turnovers in this game.
Get a good look at East Tennessee head coach Les Robinson. He wants to see some three-point shots put up because East Tennessee State, they've got 4 guys on this club, all shooting better than 40% from three-point range, and that's a very acceptable percentage.
Speaking of three-point shooters, there's Major Gear. He hits 44% from there. Their offense is geared around the perimeter game. Strickland inbounds, and there's Taft. And he lost the ball. Up the floor, it's a 3-on-2. Here's Marty Story for the jam.
Nice unselfish move that time by Mr. Jennings to give it to the open teammate who had the better shot.
10-6, Buccaneers in front. Michael Woods in the ball game. He's on Taft, and that's the 4th player to guard John Taft. Cunningham misses. Marty Story with a rebound. Here's Greg Dennis. Tapped away, and another turnover. Marshall gets it back. Here's Taft. They leave him open for the 3, and that's something you cannot do.
If there's one guy on the floor for Marshall you don't leave open, it's got to be John Taft, and he burned East Tennessee State that time.
Major Gear fills it up for the Buccaneers.
Gear does a nice job of answering on the East Tennessee State's end.
13-9, ETSU. Here's Taft. Andre Cunningham played awfully well in this tournament for Marshall. Taft again. Great feed to Strickland, who got the layup. Nice assist from John Taft.
Sure was. Good look that time. East Tennessee State was concentrating on Taft, and he dished off to the open teammate.
Jennings with a drive, the miss, a jump ball, and ultimate possession gives it to the Buccaneers. And we have a timeout. 15 minutes and 3 seconds to go. 13-11. East Tennessee State in front of Marshall, and a great start to this Southern Conference Championship game. We'll be back in a moment. 13-11 your score, East Marshall, and let's take a look at how they had that 2-point advantage, John.
A reason why teams win basketball games and individuals don't is unselfish plays like that. You saw Mr. Jennings give it open to the wide open Marty Story, and he finishes off in front in fantastic style.
We talk about multi-sport athletes. Calvin Talford, we mentioned, a professional baseball player for East Tennessee, playing with the Phillies Martinsville team. We looked at turnovers all even at 4-4. Points off turnovers, 4-3 East Tennessee State. Marty Story is a kid that played football 1 year for Danny Ford at Clemson and transferred to East Tennessee to play basketball. And yet another turnover.
Expect to see a lot of turnovers with these two clubs. They both like to push it up and down the floor, but the key is the teams that score off those turnovers.
Marshall looking to tie. Andre Cunningham penetrating against Jennings. Good. Jennings fell down, and Cunningham smartly took advantage of that situation.
Very intelligent play by Andre Cunningham.
A 3, no good, but it was tipped up and in. Rick Huckabee wants offensive goaltending.
I'll tell you what, Randy, looked real close.
Bucks back up by a pair. John Taft, guarded by sophomore Michael Woods. Taft, nice drive to the bucket, but he's hammered inside, and Taft will draw a couple of free throws.
Nice move by Taft. You see Woods on, he's out of position, and Taft gives you a great idea just how What a good ball player he is. Hangs in the air, creates that foul. Nice move that time by John Taft. The scary thing for the rest of the Southern Conference, John Taft is only a sophomore.
This league is dominated by great sophomores. Jennings and Dennis for East Tennessee, sophomores. John Taft is a sophomore. Some great young players in this conference. Taft makes the first. He'll get one more. His team down by a point with 14:21 to go here in the first half. A good shot at John. Taft makes a pair. We're tied again. Calvin Talford with a drive to the hole. Nice one by Talford.
Nobody stopped the penetration by Talford. If nobody stops your penetration, you go right to the basket, and he did it.
I guess when you're a professional baseball player, you play a little bit more poise than a normal freshman.
Pressure can't get to that young man.
Here's Taft. Dropping it to Cunningham, who's open. Yes.
Now, the reason Cunningham was open that time, Jennings is helping down low, and when they kicked it out, Cunningham was open, and he hit the shot.
Kicked out of bounds. They'll reset the clock and give it to East Tennessee. Pete Brown has checked in for Marshall. A moment ago, Chad Keller came in for East Tennessee. Now Greg Dennis comes back for the Buccaneers. There's a good shot at Dennis. That's Calvin Talford. Rick Huckabee took a little heat when Greg Dennis was in high school. He was a 6'7" senior in Charleston, signed with East Tennessee, and suddenly became 6'10".
That's one thing you can't coach is height.
Humphrey almost went for the steal. Dennis is open and got it.
Dennis really has impressed me with his range. He's not afraid to put it up from the perimeter, and if you get on him too close, he'll drive right by you.
It's a 2-point Buccaneer lead. Taft's jumper, good. Got the roll for John Taft. We're tied for the 5th time of the game.
Randy, you and I talked before the game about the importance that it was for East Tennessee State to get off to a good start, and they've certainly done that.
Dennis misses this time, and Cunningham with a rebound. And a foul, offensive foul, shoving off against Andre Cunningham.
The officials sending a statement to both teams. They're going to call that foul. And from a coaching standpoint, again, you just want consistency. Watch his off arm. See him shove Jennings right there as he went by. The official right on top of the play, and Cunningham called for the foul.
That's 2 on Cunningham. That's the 4th foul on Marshall. Gary Strickland has the other 2. There's Gary. Tie ball game. Buccaneers with the basketball.
Marshall will go man-to-man most of the game. They'll try to apply the defensive pressure.
Mr. Jennings backs out. They've got Rowland where they want him, away from the basket. Nice block by Rowland, out of bounds. Give it back to the Bucks.
One of the keys we had was for this young man, Omar Rowland, to be involved in this game, be a presence, and you see him making a nice defensive play. Avoids the foul. Good play that time by the 6'11" player.
These same teams met a little over a week ago in Huntington. Marshall won that one. Rowland had 7 block shots in that ball game.
See, East Tennessee State just controlling the boards out with a commanding 6-1 lead.
Bucks get it back. The ball goes out of bounds. Touched last by Marshall, and Jennings will take the inbounds toss from Major Gear.
You know, one of the important things about rebounds, it either means additional possessions or fewer possessions. That's why it's so important to be in the positive end of the rebounding category.
Talford pulls up and fires. A little 10-footer in front. Calvin Talford with 4 now. 21-19 your score.
East Tennessee State with yet another man on John Taft. Gear is going to be guarding him.
Lost the ball. Still scrambled for. Taft gets it back. And the follow-up slam by Omar Rowland.
One of the few times Marshall's been able to go to the offensive boards in the first half.
Major Gear misses a 3. This is Dennis. Blocked by Rowland beautifully. John Taft for the ball. Wisely held up. He had a break. It was 1-on-4. Offensive goaltending against Strickland.
No question about it. Strickland got caught in between. Didn't know whether to go for it or not. He touched the ball. The basketball was still in the cylinder, and that's offensive goaltending.
We're going to take a timeout. 11 minutes and 40 seconds left to be played in a great first half of basketball. The Southern Conference Tournament Championship. East Tennessee and Marshall all tied at 21. the Thundering Herd and the Buccaneers, Anheuser-Busch will make a $500 donation to the local Students Against Driving Drunk chapter at Marshall University and East Tennessee State. Congratulations on advancing to the Southern Conference Championship.
Top of the game, we talked about Omar Rowland. He had to be had to have his presence felt in this game. You're going to see a nice defensive play. Look at that. Nice block on his 6'11 counterpart, Greg Dennis. Nice play that time by 6'11 Rowland.
That's at least 2 block shots for Rowland this half. He's done a great job defensively.
It really is an art to block that shot without picking up the foul. Of course, the thing that Coach Rick Huckabee would like to see is for Marshall to retain possession.
Down low to Dennis. Confrontation again. Dennis misses, and you had to feel he knew Rowland was there.
Well, he faded away on that shot. He didn't take it aggressively to Rowland, and Rowland's going to win the battle if Dennis is going to make that fadeaway shot, because if the shot didn't go in, he's not in rebounding position.
Alvin West will inbound to Dennis. Mr. Jennings has not really been much of a factor offensively for East Tennessee, but the other players have picked up the slack so far. Dennis, nice fake, missed it again, rebound, and followed by West. Pete Brown comes out of there with the ball for Marshall.
Pete Brown, one of the few seniors on either team.
East Tennessee missing a flurry right there. Marshall can take the lead here.
Okay, East Tennessee State's in a box-and-1 right now. They've got 4 guys playing box, and they've got number 24, Talford. He's guarding Tapp, man-to-man. Gimmick defense. Les Robinson talked about giving them different looks.
Rowland misses, and Dennis with a rebound. Alvin West open for 3. Switch.
Good series that time by East Tennessee State. A good defensive possession. They answer with a big 3-point shot on the offensive end.
Marshall's key to winning their first 2 games in this tournament was to jump out to a big lead early, and East Tennessee has not allowed them to do that. Look at this. Strickland was wide open. Somebody lost him. Strickland gets the layup.
You got to feel that time that East Tennessee State got their defensive signals crossed up. I don't think they realized what they were all in.
Chad Keller in the ball game now. He's the banger for the Buccaneers. 6'8", about 230. Three seconds on the shot clock. 9:44 left in the half. Jennings with a drive. Lost the ball, but he traveled.
This time Jennings was up in the air. Didn't have anything to do with it. Came down, and you can't go up and down. That's a travel call.
Looking for somebody to pass to. Nobody was there. Scott Williams in the ball game now. 6'3" junior guard from Maryville, Tennessee. Boy, he can light it up. He lit up the scoreboard in the first half of Marshall's game with Appalachian with 4 3-pointers in a space of about 6 minutes.
Well, he's in there because of the box-and-1 situation, and he's in there to do exactly that, put up the 3-point shot.
He missed, however, and Greg Dennis gets the board.
You never like to see a player come right off the bench and put the shot up. Get into the flow of the game and get a sweat going.
Alvin West rips his second 3 in a row, and it's a lead for East Tennessee at 4. Scott Williams to Strickland. His jumper, no good. West with a rebound. Here come the Bucks. West is open. Missed it. Talford fights for the rebound. West for 3. What a follow by Dennis.
That basket shouldn't have counted because Dennis put his hand on the backboard and gained a possession, holding on the basketball and put it in. That should have been disallowed.
East Tennessee by 6, their biggest lead. John Tapp with the ball, 8:29 to go in the first half. Scott Williams going down low to Rowland. Brown is open, short, and a foul against Omar Rowland of Marshall. That's Rowland's first. Joining us at the mic now, Southern Conference Commissioner Dave Hart. And Dave, congratulations again on another great tournament for the Southern Conference. We've got a great crowd in here and a great game.
Randy, we have to be happy. It's wonderful. Everything is falling in place. Good crowd, great games, wonderful tournament. Can't ask for more. Thank you.
East Tennessee State with a 6-point lead. Look at Jennings. Dennis couldn't handle it.
That time Dennis wasn't ready for the pass. Nice penetration by Mr. Jennings. One of the few times he's been able to penetrate like that. And Dennis just wasn't ready for the pass.
Dave, I know while we've got you here, let's talk about this tournament and how it's grown year to year here in the city of Asheville. This is the 6th year we've had it in the city.
Well, and Asheville's been very good for it. We're happy with that too, Randy. And of course, those Marshall people, they come, and we've had more fans come from Asheville this year, which has helped us.
Rowland missed a couple of inside shots for Marshall. A bump and an offensive foul against Mr. Jennings.
Commissioner, you mentioned that you had some people from Asheville for the first time. Well, the only reason they could come this year, it's the only time they've had tickets to see.
Well, that's exactly right. First opportunity we've had that they could buy them.
7:55 to go, first half. We have a timeout. East Tennessee by 6, and we'll be back to the Southern Conference Championship game in Asheville in just a moment. Tonight's telecast of the Southern exclusive presentation of Creative Sports Marketing in association with ESPN. Any use, rebroadcast, or other transmission of this game without the written consent of Creative Sports Marketing and ESPN is prohibited. 29-23, East Tennessee State with a 6-point advantage over Marshall. And you notice something interesting about this box and one East Tennessee's in, John.
Marshall has not scored a basket since East Tennessee State has gone to this box and one. 4 players play zone, and Major Gear is playing John Tapp man-to-man. That's the first basket they've gotten.
Gary Strickland with a nice jump shot. Strickland hits about 58% of his field goal attempts. 7:28 to go, first half. Here's Major Gear. And Dennis loses it. Touch last, however, by Marshall.
That's the second time that Dennis has had the basketball, has not looked it into his hands, has tried to do something before he had possession of it. Get a good look there at East Tennessee State head coach Les Robinson.
Andre Cunningham back in. He had 2 fouls quickly in this first half and sat down. Scott Williams will exit for Marshall. Gear with a quick jumper. Missed it. Long rebound to John Tapp. John Humphrey, too hard. A big pileup, and Keller comes out of there with the ball for East Tennessee. Alvin West fights for the ball and follows his shot home.
Give West a lot of credit that time. He stuck with it and missed the initial shot, but had the presence of mind to stay with it and got the second effort.
Well, Commissioner Dave Hart, we want to thank you for stopping by and visiting with us. Great tournament, as always, here in the city of Asheville.
And East Tennessee State's got some good people here. A lot of people. I'll tell you, our conference schools are reacting to this tournament, bringing more folks each time. So, Randy, again, thanks for having us on, and thanks for doing a good job.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Dave Hart, Southern Conference Commissioner, outstanding man. Alvin West with a basketball. Marshall cuts it to 4. Inside to Keller. Keller wants to post up. He misses. Andre Cunningham with the ball. They're still chasing Tapp.
Well, if you're John Taft, you've got to be very careful about not being frustrated. And when you get the basketball, you don't want to force a shot.
Cunningham misses. He was wide open, and Keller gets the board for East Tennessee. Greg Dennis, nice move, but the shot won't go. And Humphrey with a rebound for Marshall. Well, they're leaving Cunningham wide open out there. That's dangerous because he's a good shooter.
Well, he's going to have to hit that shot.
He's open again. Cunningham. Yes, somebody's going to have to pick him up.
Nice penetration that time by Cunningham. And he can really get up in the air. He can go over people with his shot.
It's a 2-point Buccaneer lead. They were out by 6 a moment ago. Greg Dennis with the ball. Keller working inside. They go back to Keller. Yes, Chad Keller.
Nice move that time by Keller. He's big. He goes 240 pounds. He's built and likes to get it down low.
He clears out a lot of room for Greg Dennis. Allows him to do a lot of things inside. Bucks back up by 4. Here's Strickland. Missed the shot. Keller finally grabs the ball.
I don't think Strickland realized how wide open he was when he got open down low.
up with a 4-point lead. 4:18 to go in the first half. What a move by Talford, but a charge against Calvin Talford. Or is it?
I think they're going to call Rowland that time with a foul.
It's a foul on Omar Rowland. That'll be his second.
Nice move by Talford. You see Rowland got the ball, but also got part of the arm. Get another nice angle on it. Talford takes it down low. Watch Rowland come down. Watch him get him on the arm. Got a part of the head, too, that time. First time he's been called while trying to block the foul. Block the shot, I should say.
Talford will come out. But he'll have to go back in because he's shooting. He sat down, wiped his head, got a drink of water, and he said, "Who, me?" Marty Story was coming in for him, but Marty will have to wait till Talford shoots a pair of free throws.
Well, we talked earlier about what a cool customer he is, and showed you exactly that.
Talford with 2 shots, his team up by 4. Oh, he's got a smile on his face, or it might be a smirk. You never know. After he makes a nice play or a nice shot, he's a cool customer. He's down there at the end of the floor where all the Marshall fans are, but they didn't bother him. He hits a pair of free throws. Now Story will check in for Talbot. Story looks like a boxer, too. You know, he probably could.
I'd like to see Story and Keller go at it in practice of it. That's an interesting matchup.
Couple of strong young men. Some great athletes on both sides of the floor here. A little over 4 minutes to go in the half.
Okay, East Tennessee State, they've changed the defense again. Now they're in straight man-to-man. They've gotten out of that box and won.
Scott Williams, great feed to Cunningham. Missed the dunk. Strickland lost the ball, but a foul on Chad Keller. And Strickland took quite a lick to the head that time. Ran up against Keller. I guess he did. Let's take a look.
Nice pass down low. See the shot go up. You're going to see Keller come over. Look at that. It just hammers him. Strickland did take a blow.
3:54 left to be played in the first half. It's been a great half so far. East Tennessee up by 6. And we'll be back to Asheville in just a moment. It's the American South Conference Championship. New Orleans and Louisiana Tech coming up at 9:30 tonight. Bob Rathman and Billy King, your announcers. East Tennessee by 6. Marshall will play it in underneath. Pete Brown working the basketball for Marshall. John Taft's getting a rest.
See the 2-1 edge for East Tennessee State on the boards.
Nice block by Dennis off the shot by Strickland. Major Gear works the ball to Keith Jennings. Keith Jennings down low to Greg Dennis. 3:20 to go in the half. Jennings has been relatively silent scoring-wise, but he's done a good job directing this East Tennessee offense. There's a holding foul against Pete Brown of Marshall. That's his first. And that one puts East Tennessee in the 1-1 with 3:13 to go. Oddly enough, only 3 fouls against East Tennessee in the first half.
That time Brown and Keller, 2 big boys, got locked up.
Didn't take long for Rick Huckabee to put John Taft in, but you know, when they went to the box and won, Taft scored zip, no point.
Look for them to give that same look at some point in the game, because Les Robinson talked about giving some different defensive situations to confuse and frustrate Marshall.
Chad Keller gets a couple of free throw opportunities. He misses the first. He'll get another. Normally, he's a good free throw shooter. He hits about 77% on the year. Not bad for a big man.
Nice touch for the big guy.
He made me look bad there. He missed both of them.
Never fails. Whenever you praise, the next shot's automatically going to be missed.
3:08 to go in the half. Marshall down 6. There's a guy that can do something about that, John Taft. Rowland lost it into Dennis. Here's Mr. Jennings setting the offense. Story.
You don't leave your feet. You leave it for one purpose, and that's to put a shot up. That time he left it trying to pass and made the turnover.
Taft got it. First points in a while for John Taft. Major Gear with the ball out front. Taft 5 out out of 7 shots from the field. Nice shooting night for Mr. Taft.
When he gets the shot, he's putting him down.
East Tennessee patiently working some of the time off the shot clock with 2:10 to go in the game and 15 on the game shot clock. Jennings, they gave him an opening. He missed the jumper, however. Cunningham with the rebound.
One of the few times the 45-second shot clock's been down to 10 in this game. It's really been up and down.
Taft all the way in. Got the nice roll. John Taft pulls Marshall to within 2.
You get the feeling that the momentum's starting to change and that Marshall is slowly but surely gaining the momentum in this basketball game.
1:35 to go in the half. Dennis with the ball. Rowland steps in and fouls him, and that is 3 fouls on Omar Rowland. That is really, really big.
That is a big call. We're going to get a good look at it. Dennis and Rowland are going to get tangled up. Rowland trying to make the good play. See, he reaches over. That's where the call. See him reach over Dennis, the official right there on the play. We'll get a look at it from another angle. Watch Rowland reach over. See him reach over. He doesn't have control of that basketball. You've got to have control of it, both players at the same time, for the jump ball to be called. And he certainly didn't have it that time.
Rowland will sit down. We've seen him the last time we'll see him in this first half. And into the lineup is John Humphrey for Marshall. Pete Brown also in there. Greg Dennis with a 17-point per game average. Hits the first of 2.
Randy, I got to feel that the longer this game stays close, it's got to favor East Tennessee State. They had a couple of close games already in this tournament. Marshall has not been tested. They're a good basketball team and they're on a roll, but they haven't had a close game.
A pair of free throws by Dennis puts East Tennessee back up by 4. 1:25 to go in the half. Andre Cunningham with the ball. Slapped away by Jennings. He'll slap that ball away about 10 times from somebody. Strickland pulls up and hits the little jumper.
Nice shot by Strickland that time.
It's a 2-point game again.
Marshall, they've been in man-to-man defense the entire first half.
Artie Story, nice move to the bucket along the baseline. East Tennessee maintaining that 4-point lead. Pete Brown with the ball. 33 seconds to go. There's about a 3-second differential in the shot clock and the game clock. Marshall may milk it down here. Let's see what their strategy is.
East Tennessee, they're back in that box in 1.
Well, that did the job on Taft when they had it in there, but he still has a few points.
Well, also the other thing that it does to Taft, it really wears you down offensively. If you've got a man dogging you all over the court, you get tired. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Strickland before the shot was fouled by East Tennessee. That was a pretty good foul because it's not a shooting foul with 7 seconds left. Or will it be a shooting foul?
Into the Buccaneer lineup, number 2,
Must be.
Alvin West, and number 32, Michael Woods.
I say that Strickland was in the act of shooting that time.
Into the Marshall.
A lot of substitutes coming in. Scott Williams is there. He can fire it up from outside. Now they're going to play it in underneath. Strickland thought he was going to shoot. Went to the line, but that was a smart foul by East Tennessee because with 7 seconds left, they're going to force Marshall to play it in because they were not the 1-and-1. That's only the 14th foul. Talford almost lost it. Gives it in to Strickland, who buries the jumper. He got his points anyway, and the first half is going to come to a close here. It's been a great one. East Tennessee leading Marshall by a pair at halftime, 39-37. The Southern Conference Tournament Championship game finds East Tennessee out by 2 over Marshall here at halftime. Let's go back to the Sports Center. Here's John Saunders.
Okay, thanks a lot, Randy and John. So we have a 2-point game, another good one, this one in the Southern Conference Championship as we continue on ESPN's championship week.
Kind of the the championship game of the Southern Conference Tournament for 1989. East Tennessee State by 2 over Marshall. Here at halftime, we talked about these teams pushing up the floor. A lot of points, a lot of turnovers, though, and some real good performances so far.
It was. I think the key in the first half was the defensive situation and the way that both teams adjusted to that particular situation. Turnovers was a big key in the first half. East Tennessee State had 9, Marshall only 6, and we're going to see a steal coming up by Andre Cunningham for Marshall. Watch him jump right in there, make the nice play. East Tennessee State turn it over a little more than I think Les Robinson would like to see in the first half. Field goal percentage, not a big difference right there. Both teams basically got the same number of shots up. Marshall at 50%. Greg Huckabee's got to be pleased with that. You're going to get a good look at a three-point shot coming from Alvin West for East Tennessee State. I think East Tennessee State needs to put up some more threes. They were 3 out of 6 in the first half. Now, this is the difference in the ball game. East Tennessee State, a commanding edge on the boards. And we're going to see Greg Dennis come up with a defensive rebound. But the key has been at the offensive end, because East Tennessee State has 10 offensive rebounds, and it's led to 8 additional points, whereas Marshall has gotten no second chance points.
All right, we're ready with the second half of this basketball game. Marshall gets the ball to start the second period of play. Marshall is 1-13 this year when they trail at the half. It's not a good sign if you're a Herd fan, but that is John Taft with his 17th point.
Well, I think of the half, if you're Rick Huckabee, you got to feel pretty pleased, because they had a stretch in the first half where they were dry on the offensive end, and to be only down by 2 points going in the locker room, he had to feel they went in with a momentum.
Quick shot by West. Rebounded on the other end by Rowland. The shot there goes out, and Jennings comes up with the ball.
Jennings didn't score a lot in the first half, but he only committed 2 turnovers and had 6 assists. And just as we mentioned the offensive end, I think Les Robinson probably told him to get involved on the offensive end.
Mr. Jennings with a 3 from the outside. Keith Jennings in the first half did not score, but he came out quickly in the second half.
Interesting story where he got that nickname in Pop Warner football. His dad was calling him Keith, and he wasn't responding. And finally, with a little more authoritative tone, he said, "Hey, Mr. Jennings," and his nickname stuck ever since.
Rowland with a third opportunity on the tap gets it in for Marshall. It's a 1-point Buccaneer lead. That 3 by Mr. being the difference right here. Here's that. Oh, great play by Dennis. East Tennessee strong to the board again. Story stepped out of bounds, and Marshall comes up the floor with a chance to take the lead.
Good hustle that time by Story, but he ran out of real estate on the baseline, and Marshall will have the basketball.
John Taft brings it in. 18:35 to go in this basketball game. Taft drops it to Cunningham in the corner. Nice shot by Strickland. Tip no good. Rebound by Dennis. Up the floor to Talford. Talford way up in the rafters for that jumper.
Talford got up, but I'm going to tell you, Gary Strickland was looking at that basketball eye to eye. Great athletic move by him, and a smart move not to try to block it.
John Taft answers his 19th point for Marshall. 18 minutes to go. Oh, here's West open for 3. Give it to him.
I think that's a smart move. They're a good percentage shooting team from the three-point range, and Les Robinson's got to like to see him come out and putting that three-point shot up.
It's a 4-point East Tennessee State lead. A couple of three-pointers early. And a foul against John Taft of Marshall. That's going to be his first. There's John. Let's take a look.
Taft. Well, the call actually was on Talford. He was still moving, didn't establish his position, and Talford's going to be called for the foul.
Taft just looked guilty. Talford does get the foul on this end of the floor. Greg Dennis picks up the foul for East Tennessee State. That's also only his first. Nobody in any real foul trouble except Omar Rowland, keep in mind, has 3. There's Rick Huckabee.
What a competitor he is. He said it's nice to be here, but only one thing will be worthwhile, and that's going back with the championship of the Southern Conference. He really is a competitor, and you got to like that.
Omar Rowland gets his 7th point tonight. Makes it a 47-44 East Tennessee State lead. Rowland, who struggled earlier from the year at the free throw line, has shot very well from there during this tournament. East Tennessee with the ball in the 2-point lead. Talford, nice fake. What a play by Calvin Talford. The foul on Gary Strickland. That's his third.
Get a great look there and a nice athletic move. You'll see Talford, the key here. Watch the pump fake. Two players go for it. Nice play that time by Talford. Talking with assistant Dave Hanners before the game of East Tennessee State. Dave Hanners played at North Carolina, and he paid a tremendous compliment to Talford. He said that in all the years he's been around the game, and he's been around some good ones, Bobby Jones, Mitch Kupchak, the likes of Walter Davis, he said that Talford was the greatest athlete he's ever seen.
17:27 to go. East Tennessee by 5. John Humphrey in the ball game for Marshall. Andre Cunningham looks for Roland.
They're back in the box in 1. Talford's following Taft wherever he goes. The rest of the players are playing zone.
Tapped away, foul from behind by East Tennessee's Marty Story. It's his first.
Foul is on number 34, Marty Story. His first, team's third.
Les Robinson has done a good job of changing up the defense. Just when Marshall really seems to get in the flow, he changes the defense and keeps them off balance. Smart move by Les Robinson.
Roland blocked by Story. Back to Roland, who got the jam. East Tennessee let up a little bit after that one block.
You can't relax. If you make one good play, you've got to be ready to make that second one.
Alvin West, the drive, short. Dennis crashes the board, but a foul against Gary Strickland. And oh, how crucial that is. That's 4 on Strickland.
Tough call on Strickland. You see the penetration by West. Shot goes off the side of the backboard. That's a tough call because I'm going to tell you, Dennis looked like he had good position that time. We'll get a good look from the other angle. Watch Dennis coming in low. He's got position on that. That's Strickland reaching in.
That hurts because Marshall's 2 top rebounders are in foul trouble. Roland with 3, and Strickland, as you see him leaving, has 4. East Tennessee State will play it in. Marty Story will inbound. Story got the block a moment ago on Roland, even though he gave up about 7 or 8 inches in height. Here's Jennings hitting away. They look for that 3 every opportunity. Calvin Talford. Here's West in front.
Once again, nobody stops. West's penetration goes right to the basket and gets an easy 2.
Well, these teams did not play a close game in the regular season. Marshall was blown out by 17 in Johnson City. They won by 9 in Huntington, returning the favor.
Something about tournament time brings out the best in both clubs.
Scott Williams, you're going to have to respect him. He's missed 2. Talford way up in the rafters to get the rebound. Here's Jennings. Yes. Keith Jennings with 6.
Interesting stat right there. The Thundering Herd only 1 in 13 when they trail at the half.
We have a timeout. 15:48. Marshall wants to talk about it. East Tennessee now with the biggest lead of the game at 8. And we'll be back in just a moment. Week here on ESPN. It continues tomorrow night. The Sun Belt Conference Championship at 7. Metro Atlantic Championship at 9. And the West Coast Athletic Conference at 11:30. Great college basketball coming up this week and all week long.
A lot of the viewers may be not that familiar with the Southern Conference, but the roots go back a long way. Members of the ACC and the SEC all got their roots right here from this conference. It's been around officially since 1921.
Andre Cunningham answers for Marshall. Some of those teams include Georgia Tech, Georgia, Tennessee. All of them were in there at one time. Cunningham gets the rebound after he makes the basket on the other end. Marshall answering the charge by East Tennessee. And Calvin Talford picks up the foul. It'll be his second as he goes after Andre Cunningham.
You're going to see Talford go after Taft. Talford goes after it. Didn't look like a whole lot of contact. Must have got him with a body. It's a tough angle from that side. But you see the official, he's right there in good position to make that call.
Pete Brown will inbound. He came in for the in foul troubled Gary Strickland. You know, Marshall's had the home court advantage in this tournament if you have to have one on a neutral floor. They won 12 of 14 games since the tournament came here in '84.
Thinking in that fact, Duke upsets North Carolina, if you want to call an upset, at North Carolina today. Of course, North Carolina beat Duke at Duke earlier. The home court is not what it's all cranked up to be this year.
And in the Southern Conference, every team lost at least one home court game within the conference this year. Alvin West, nice bucket by the freshman, sophomore Alvin West. Nice assist from the freshman Calvin Talford. (57-49). East Tennessee with an 8-point lead. Cunningham wide open. Missed it. Kicked out and controlled by Taft. Watch him work.
Nice job that time by Taft. The key on that play was Pete Brown. He kept that basketball alive, knocking it out so Taft could get possession.
Mr. Jennings.
You gotta like that nickname, Mr.
Yeah.
Jennings.
Especially if you're 5'7", you gotta love it. Tapped away and a foul on Marshall. Let's see who that one's on. On John Taft. So he finally gets the foul I tried to give him a minute ago. That's his first.
John Taft, what a player he is. Once again, the conference player of the year here, and he's got at least 2 more years to go.
Here's Talford with the ball out high. They go to Keller. And he 3 seconds. Started to say walk, but they call a 3-second violation against East Tennessee.
It's one of the few 3-second calls I've seen all year long. See Les Robinson, he's signaling for a defense. That may be the box in one that looked like what he put up. And that's exactly what they fall back in.
It worked earlier.
He kept it simple. Just made a little box, kept it simple, and that's exactly what his team did.
Touch last as the ball goes out of bounds by East Tennessee. Marshall will retain possession. Marshall plays it in underneath. Pete Brown with the ball. Taft started by Talford. Well, he's seen a lot of faces tonight, hasn't he? Right up in his face.
I'm sure he's used to that, though. A great player like that usually sees a lot of those kind of defenses.
Omar Rowland finds Pete Brown open, and the foul will give Brown an opportunity for a 3-point play. Keith Jennings slapping the hand of Pete Brown.
Nice pass by Rowland. Brown right underneath. You see Jennings coming over the back. Nice move that time by Brown, and he'll have an opportunity for the conventional 3-point play.
Keith Jennings with his second foul. Brown with an opportunity to make it a 3-point game if he connects, and he does.
By conventional, I mean get the basket, then go to the free throw line and hit the bucket.
Greg Dennis back in for East Tennessee. Marty Story will sit down.
Marshall once again has done a good job of climbing back into this basketball game. There's been a couple of times when they could have gotten in trouble, but they fought back every time they've been down.
Alvin West, who's had a good game for East Tennessee, drops it to Talford. Here he goes. He's off the glass and in. Calvin Talford.
The more you watch him, the more you have to respect his athletic ability. He just kind of hung in the air, waited for people to clear, then put the shot up.
Here's Pete Brown dishing it off to Cunningham. Nice feed to Rowland. Missed the slam, but Talford fouled him from behind, and that's 3 on Mr. Talford.
Brown's going to make a nice pass. Cunningham, nice dish over to Rowland. You're going to see Talford come back now. That's 6'11" he's going up against right there, and he gets up right up there with him. Once again, the nice pass from Cunningham. Rowland thinks he's got it all by himself, and Mr. Talford crashes the party.
He's going to make him earn his 2 points for the free throw line. It was a good foul because he misses the first. You know, Talford, we talk about him being such an exciting player. He's also been compared to Gerald Wilkins, who played at UT Chattanooga, now a really consistent player with the New York Knicks in the NBA. Misses 2 free throws. That was a good foul.
Well, the other thing that does is next time Rowland goes up in the back of his mind, he's got to wonder where Talford is.
Here's West. Back to Talford. Boy, he'll challenge him. There's Keller's jumper short. Taft with the rebound. Jennings cuts him off well.
Nice job by Jennings. Didn't create the foul, but stopped the penetration and the drive by Taft.
12 minutes, 30 seconds to go. East Tennessee by 5. Here's Scott Williams against Dennis. Blocked from behind. Keller with a rebound. There's no way Scott Williams is going to be able to score for Greg Dennis.
Nice move by Dennis, just to make a simple block and not try to be too fancy and pick up a foul.
Great feed. West misses, but Keller is there for the follow.
I think Rowland got away with a goaltend that time. I think he touched the basketball as it went down, but East Tennessee State came up with a bucket anyway.
12 minutes to go. Cunningham in the lane, got it, but the basket's going to count, but I believe it's a charge on Cunningham.
They are going to call the charge on Cunningham, but they said that the ball was released before the contact occurred. That's the key. Released? It sure is. Good call by the official. Cunningham gets the basket, and he picks up his third foul.
11:59 to go in this basketball game. East Tennessee State with a 5-point lead over Marshall's Thundering Herd. And we'll be back to Asheville, North Carolina, the Southern Conference Championship, in just a moment. Somebody that doesn't really care a lot about what's going on the floor, John.
Is that the next power forward for the Buccaneers?
It could be. He's almost as young as some of these players they have right here, or as old. There are your field goal percentages this half. East Tennessee still lighting it up.
Boy, they are getting some good shots, and they're canning them. That's really been the big difference here in the second half.
Here's Marty Story. Might have forced that shot. On the rebound, Greg Dennis gets the foul. That's his second.
You're right. That time, East Tennessee State did force that shot. Not a good selection. And one of the few times all night. Watch Story. He's out of position. Leaning. No chance to get that bucket. And you're going to see Dennis. He comes over the back. That's one of the few times I've seen a bad shot tonight by either team.
Omar Rowland goes to the other end. That puts East Tennessee in the 1-and-1 awfully early. 11:37 to go. There's Les Robinson. He's got to be a little concerned about that. But Rowland's the guy you want on there, percentage-wise.
Les Robinson, the dean of the Southern Conference coaches, spent a lot of years at the Citadel and now at East Tennessee State University.
Played for Everett Case and Press Maravich at NC State. Coached under those guys, too.
Not bad company to get your start on.
It sure isn't. Down low to Greg Dennis. Tapped away, saved by the mister.
You know, Dennis is not turning around and being aggressive to the basket. In the first half, Rowland blocked a couple shots, and I think he's a little intimidated to go at him. Once again, it goes in and he doesn't even look at the basket.
Rowland's done a good job in that respect. Jennings comes out, 7 seconds on the shot clock. This is the most patience I've seen East Tennessee exhibit today. Jennings, he's not scared of anybody. He will be fouled by Marshall. He'll get 2 shots.
That's a tough foul on Marshall's end because there's only 2 seconds left on the 45-second clock. Jennings creates. This is what he can do. He goes up. You see Brown out of position. Not much he can do. He commits the foul. But give Mr. Jennings a lot of credit on that play. Made the penetration and created that foul.
He has 7 assists in this game. There's Major Gear. That's not Keith Jennings. But Keith is at the line. There he is. He has 7 assists in this game so far. Hasn't scored a lot. But he came up with a couple of big 3-pointers early in this half.
So at the open of the show, talked about keeping those turnovers to a minimum, and he only had 2 turnovers in the first half. I'm sure Les Robinson felt good about that.
1 out of 2 for Mr. Jennings. Puts East Tennessee up by 6.
East Tennessee State's going to pick up with full court pressure now.
10:48 to go in this one. Here's Taft. Spinning away off the baseline. You can't do nothing with a shot like that.
You got to like Taft talking to the coaching staff at Marshall. They really are impressed about how he comes out and gives 100%. John Lyles, assistant coach, really was impressed talking about him today.
That's going to be a block against that young man, John Humphrey of Marshall. It's his first foul and team foul number 6 on the Thundering Herd. So with the next personal foul on the men in green, East Tennessee will be in the 1-and-1.
See Rick Huckabee, that jacket has long since left him, and it's very warm in here.
It is. Here's Major Gear, missing the 3. Keller. Boy, he scooted some people out to get that rebound. East Tennessee will reload.
Keller made a smart decision that time. Really didn't have anything offensively. Didn't force it, kicked it out, and they restarted the offense.
They go to Dennis. This time he shoots over Rowland and gets the bucket.
Nice move that time by Dennis. You notice that time he turned around and faced Rowland. Nice offensive move. I think he needs to do more of that.
John Taft and a bumping foul against John Humphrey.
Now they're going to call an illegal pick that time.
Let's take another look at this one.
You're going to watch the pick coming up.
Yeah.
Yep. Certainly was the illegal pick that time.
It's a good call.
Sure was. Humphrey was still moving.
still moving and put his shoulder into him also. So we're in the 1-1. East Tennessee goes to the line. Down the stretch, this is important because East Tennessee is an excellent free throw shooting team. They hit 75% from the line. They missed a lot early yesterday, but in that win over UT Chattanooga, they hit some big ones down the stretch. Major Gear hits this one. He'll get one more.
As we talked, the winner of this game, an automatic qualifier in the round of 64. Very important for these two teams because I think you're only going to have one team from this conference going to the NCAA tournament. Could be some possible NIT bids, but only one's probably going to go to the tournament.
East Tennessee State, if they win this one, would have 20 wins. Appalachian has already won 20. UT Chattanooga is a veteran of postseason play. They have 18. So they could go to the NIT again. Great basketball in this conference, John. Here's John Taft. Missing, and Keller with a rebound. Keller has a bunch of boards in this game.
Does a good job of getting position.
Here's Jennings. Yes.
Big basket. That's the biggest lead of the night. East Tennessee State up by 11 points.
Timeout for the Thundering Herd. 9 minutes, 31 seconds. East Tennessee has roared out to an 11-point lead over Marshall. And we'll be back to Asheville, North Carolina in just a moment. Boy, look, East Tennessee. They've opened up an 11-point lead, and he has 10 this half.
Well, we said he had to play a good game on both ends of the court. Shut out in the first half. He's got 10 in the second half, and he's also got 7 assists to go those 10 points.
It's a great player. 5'7". Well, when you're 5'7", you can't be intimidated by anybody.
If you are, it's all over quick.
That's right. There is a place for the little man in this game. Keith Jennings is proven. Gary Strickland been silent for a while. Cunningham misses the jam. This should be interesting. Major Gear with a slam. At 6'1", he wanted to slam it, but it was pretty anyway. East Tennessee by 13, their biggest lead.
Marshall's got to get a good shot this trip down court. They've got plenty of time to get back in the basketball game. No sense in panicking, and they've got the ball in the right man's hand. That's John Taft.
Blocked by Story. Gear took it away, but he was on his back.
You know, I'm not so sure that Gear committed that foul, but when you reach over, that's an automatic call for an official. That time, Taft had inside position, and Gear just reached over his back.
Great play by Story.
Watch this. Nice block by Story. Came up to the end of it, but Gear reached over Taft's back, and that's where it's just an automatic call.
Taft will get 2 shots. 23 points for him tonight. Just 2 under his average. He's going to get his average of this trip if he makes this next one.
You know, you got to wonder with that great block by Story what he could have done on field goal attempts.
Ooh.
Mentioned he's originally signed to play football at Clemson.
Taft misses the second shot. That hurts Marshall because they had a chance to score with that clock stop. Down 13 at the time. That hurts. 8:38 to go.
And the tough thing here is Taft's got to guard Jennings, and he's going to expend a lot of energy on defense, and that's going to hurt him on the offensive end.
Jennings is making him work out there, too. Marty Story with the ball. 15 on the shot clock. Here's Jennings. Ducking in and hitting the shot in the lane. Keith Jennings has really turned it on in the second half.
He's certainly been the man in the second half, and give East Tennessee State credit. They acted with a lot of composure that time. Ran a lot of the shot clock off and got a nice shot.
Marshall down by 14. Blocked, but a foul on Keith Jennings, and that's 3 on Mr. Jennings.
Jennings came around the backside of Cunningham and slapped down at the basketball, and that's another automatic call. When you slap down like that, that's a quick signal to the official if there's a foul.
Alvin West comes in. Keith Jennings sits down to a nice applause from the East Tennessee side of the floor.
You know he's only going to get a breather, and I'm sure he'll be right back in.
He is such a key to this basketball team. Andre Cunningham with 2 free throws. He misses. Marshall is a team. We told you how good East Tennessee State was from the line. Marshall hits only about 67% from the line.
Marshall has trailed most of this basketball game.
A pair by Marshall. They've missed 3 of their last 4 free throw opportunities. That has really hurt the Herd.
Marshall's going to have to pick up that defensive intensity. It's going to be the defense that's going to trigger them getting back in this game.
Greg Dennis to Keller. Here's Major Gill with the ball.
Now, what East Tennessee State's doing right now, this is a delay, but they're running their offense over and over. And if the shot comes, they put it up. I like this as opposed to spreading the court and changing gear. All they're doing is running their offense over and over.
West dropped it to Keller, thrown away and stolen by Cunningham.
Of course, that's not what's supposed to be the final option, the turnover.
Here's Taft. He's got to work to get his team back in it. He draws the foul. The shot won't go, and East Tennessee picks up the personal. Alvin West. That's only his first foul.
Alvin West, his first.
That'll send Taft back to the line where he missed 1 out of 2 his last opportunity. Tauper's back in. We haven't seen him for a while. He went down a few moments ago with his 3rd personal foul. He's back. And Dennis sits down. Well, the bench plays a big part at tournament time also, and East Tennessee's taking advantage of that. They've got some quality time.
Well, East Tennessee State also is getting the opportunity to rest some of their key players without having to worry about the lead changing.
Taft, this time, 1 out of 2 also. Marshall has scored only 2 points off their last 3 possessions.
Over there on the sideline, Les Robinson was whirling his hand around. And once again, that just means to run the offense over and over. If you get the shot, go ahead and put it up, but don't force it.
6:51 to go. Marty Story with the ball. Boy, they're making Marshall work. Here's Gear. He almost had a 3. Thought better of it. They're down to 10 on the shot clock. Here's West. Tapped out of his hands and saved. Back to Story. 2 seconds. Tauper's jumper. Missed it. Kept alive, but Marshall's rolling gets the rebound. Taft off the glass and in. John Taft takes it upon himself to get Marshall back in this one. It's an 11-point game.
Rick Huckabee's telling his team to pick him up full court. That time they didn't get the signal in time, but he made the signal. Pick him up at full court.
East Tennessee State wants a timeout. We have 6 minutes, 2 seconds left in this game. East Tennessee with the ball, an 11-point lead, and we'll be back in just a moment. Championship weekend on ESPN Championship. New Orleans and Louisiana Tech coming up next at 9:30 p.m. Bob Rathman and Billy King, your announcers. We still have 6:02 left in this one, and East Tennessee State with a ball, an 11-point lead. Rebounding edge, 40-29, East Tennessee State. That's a big. Slapped away by Humphrey. Story can't control it. Humphrey gets it. Humphrey shot no good.
Humphrey missed Taft wide open that time. Just didn't see him. John Taft was all by himself for an easy layup.
Humphrey walked with the ball as he got the rebound. That hurt Marshall. There's Mr. Taft. 27 tonight. He needs only 2 points to match the tournament record for 3 games set by Jeff Cohen in 1961.
I think with 5:45 to go in this game, he's got a good shot at doing that.
You know they're going to go to him. 5:37 to go.
Don't hold. Don't hold. Don't hold.
Mr. Jennings has 12 points this half. John Taft has hit 11 out of 14 shots from the floor, and he's done that. Foul is on Greg Dennis of East Tennessee. That's his 3rd. Taft has done that with everybody but Les Robinson guarding him this game.
Tough call that time. East Tennessee State called away from the basketball. Dennis mixing it up down low and call for the foul. You know that Les Robinson didn't like that call because it stops the clock again.
And it gives Marshall the opportunity to pick up some bonus points. They went into 1-1 at 11:40, and with a dead clock, they've scored 1 point.
You got to capitalize more than that. Once again, they're 11 down with 5:26 to go. Still plenty of time to get right back in this basketball game. With a 3-point shot, you're never over until the final gun goes off.
Marshall again fails in the bonus opportunity. We're not only talking about the 1-1 bonus, but the bonus chances when you're down and the clock is stopped and a chance to score. Marshall has not done that.
Well, when you miss the front end, you're really losing 2 points.
Right. East Tennessee making Marshall work. We're down to almost 5 minutes left. Calvin Talford with the ball. 56. Here's Talford. Jumper, good.
That really hurts because, again, East Tennessee State was allowed to run a lot of time off that shot clock, and they come up with 2 points.
4:43 to go. A three by Andre Cunningham. Rowland gets the rebound, but a foul against Rowland. He went over somebody's back to get that board.
I'm not sure that was a good shot that time by Andre Cunningham. It's a little too soon to put up with reckless abandon to 3-point shots. Now, he's at NBA range. Way out there, and you're going to see Rowland come over the back. He's called for the foul. Once again, good defensive rebounding position by Chad Keller.
Marshall can't panic, and that looked like a panic situation there. There's still plenty of time, but they've got to work for the good shot.
Well, you know, if you're Rick Huckabee and the rest of the Marshall coaching staff, John Taft is option number 1. He also may be option 2 and 3.
Keller with a free throw. He missed it. Marshall gets the rebound.
See, they've got to get a good shot this time down court. They haven't even set their offense up the last couple trips down court.
Here's Marshall, bumped and fouled by Talford, and that's 4 on Calvin Talford. That'll send Taft back to the line with a free throw opportunity.
Marshall did a nice job that time of clearing out. They isolated Talford and Taft all by themselves, and Taft likes that particular situation, and Talford was a little out of position, called for his 4th foul. That's a big foul.
Now let's see if Taft can swing the momentum of the free throw line in the other direction for Marshall. He does. He hits the first one. That's 28 for Taft. He hits this one. He ties the tournament record for 3-game tournament. Got him there. 29 for Taft.
See the time, 4:22 to go in this basketball game.
Greg Dennis with the ball. East Tennessee has their best free throw shooters in there. That could be big down the stretch as it was yesterday when the Buccaneers beat UT Chattanooga.
You got to deny that outlet pass. When West picks it up, you got to deny the outlet pass.
Foul on Scott Williams at Marshall. That'll send Calvin Talford to the line for East Tennessee State. Williams' first foul.
Talford takes Williams down low. Williams still moving, no question about that. You see the block put out of there. Look at it from another angle. See Williams, he's still moving. Strickland goes up and says, you're not going to get a chance for 3. I'm going to make sure of that.
Talford at the line. You can see he's over his average, but he really came on in the second half of the year for East Tennessee State. He's played a great game here tonight.
East Tennessee State really making it difficult on Marshall because they're not missing at the free throw line again as soon as you say it. You jinx them.
They missed 2 of their last 3, but we won't talk about that now. Taft fouled by West, and they're going to send Taft back to the line. West picks up his 2nd foul.
Taft's doing what he does good. He's in a one-on-one situation and just took West to the goal. Look at Taft. He likes that, just driving to the goal. You see West reach in there. No doubt about that call. But Taft in the open court is really the offensive dimension that Marshall wants to see, particularly if he's only got 1 defensive player on him.
We're under the 4-minute mark. There's Taft with 29. He misses the first of 2. He'll get another. Rick Huckabee got to be pulling his hair out over this free throw shooting. They hit those free throws while East Tennessee's missing a few. They could be back in this one. You got it. 30 for Taft. That gives him now the record for most points in a 3-game tournament. Southern Conference tournament history. Breaks the old record of 102 points set by Jeff Cohen in 1961. Goes back a long way.
Little trap right now. Cunningham and Taft trapping Mr. Jennings. Comes over to our table, and he's going to be at the free throw line.
Now, if you're East Tennessee, he's the guy you want at the line. Keith Jennings on the year hits about 85% of his free throws. Boy, he really comes through down the stretch in the clutch for East Tennessee.
Marshall made a pretty smart move, though. They've got to do something to apply a little more pressure. That time, Cunningham and Taft tried to double-team Mr. Jennings. Look for them to do some more of that. They're in a situation where they've got to take some chances.
Jennings makes the first. It's a 12-point lead for East Tennessee State.
The key with Mr. Jennings is if he can hit those free throws, he controls the basketball. He can hold on to it and force Marshall to foul him.
Jennings with a pair. Bucks by 13. There's Les Robinson. He is 346 away from his first ever trip to the NCAA as a participant. Here's Taft for three. Yes. John Taft.
He's not the guy you leave open anywhere.
Southern Conference Player of the Year with 33 points. It's a 10-point ball game. Marshall's fans begin to come to life here. Greg Dennis fouled by Pete Brown. And Dennis will go to the line. Well, you can see Marshall's strategy is going to be to foul here because it's getting late. They're down 10.
We've mentioned that East Tennessee State a very good overall free throw shooting team, but when one guy for East Tennessee State starts missing, that's the guy you want to zero in on. Once he misses one, put him at the free throw line as many times as you can. Got to find a kink in that armor.
11 rebounds on the night for number 11, Greg Dennis. Got the free throw.
He really impresses me. At 6'11", he really is agile, runs the floor extremely well, not afraid to dribble with it. Really has a complete package.
He's going to be a great pro prospect. They talked about his upper body strength has to improve. He makes 2 free throws, but he's only a sophomore. He's only been 6'11" for a couple of years. Lead is 12. Scott Williams. This is a three. Dennis gets the rebound and a foul. Or is it? Might have hit the goal support.
I think what he called it went over the top of the backboard, went beyond it, and that's a situation where it goes to East Tennessee State. Good call by the official.
All wide open is Talford. He missed the shot, got his own rebound. East Tennessee going to work that clock.
Smart move that time by Keller. Didn't force the shot, kicked it out, and they start the offense over.
Here's Keith Jennings, 2:52 to go. Oh, he fooled everybody. Pulled up and hit the jump shot.
He really has lit it up in the second half.
Here's Pete Brown to Scott Williams. Offensive foul against Scott Williams. He was pushing off.
Good call. Very obvious foul that time. Scott Williams trying to go to the basket, used his off arm to gain position.
Let's take another look.
Look at his left arm. Right there. No doubt about it. He's pushing, holding. Official right there. Good call.
Scott's a junior from Maryville, Tennessee, and he's a designated shooter.
He's in there for one purpose, and that's to put the three up.
He missed his first 3 opportunities, however, this game. Cunningham's all over Jennings. Williams went for the steal.
West almost traveled that time.
Look at Talford inside. Look at him. He knows he made a pretty play. There's a steal. Bucks get it back. They're up by 16.
Marshall's rattled that time. Didn't even look at the inbounds pass, and good play by West to come up with a steal. Look at Les Robinson. He's excited on the sideline.
He smells that tournament berth. Talford fouled. It's a 1-and-1. Scott Williams gets number 3 for him, and Talford goes back to the line.
Look at Les Robinson. He is intense over there. He was really excited, jumping up and down.
Boy, he's worked as hard as any of his players.
Jennings down low, dishes it off. Talford comes down. No doubt about the reach-in by Williams, and they've got to make those fouls.
Calvin Talford at the line.
Calvin Talford at the line with the 1 and bonus.
Andy Paul Williamson just checking in for Marshall, and he's been a starter for a lot of the years. Been hurt. First time we've seen him tonight. He's a regular for this team.
He had a problem with an intestinal virus earlier in the year. Taft shot blocked by West. There's a 3 by Taft. He has 36. And a timeout, Marshall. Boy, look at John Taft. He's worked for this one, folks. Let me tell you, 36 points, but his team is down 13 with 1:44 to go. You know, East Tennessee State is only 1:44 away from their first trip to the NCAA tournament. We're going to take a look at that in just a moment. East Tennessee up by 13 over Marshall's Thundering Herd. We'll be back to Asheville right after this. East Tennessee State with a 13-point lead. Watch Keith Jennings just fool everybody.
Went for the fake, puts it up and in. He has really played an outstanding second half.
Oh, what a player.
Okay, Marshall in full court pressure. Mr. Jennings breaks it.
You got to catch him before you can foul him, that's for sure. Marshall's got to foul. They have no choice. 1:34 to go.
Don't waste a whole lot of time in doing it.
There's the foul for Taft, his third. Keith Jennings, look at the stats for him. 16 points, 5 of 5 from the field in the second half. He has 7 assists. John Taft has nailed 3 out of 3 3-pointers. There's John as he picked up his third foul. He is 13 out of 18 from the floor and 36 points.
He's not ready to concede this Southern Conference championship just yet.
He's only a sophomore. The all-time leading scorer in Southern Conference history is a Marshall player. That's Skip Henderson, who graduated last year. Taft keeps up this pace. Henderson won't be the scoring leader for long. West hits a free throw, and East Tennessee automatic from that free throw line.
Just not missing at all, and that's what it takes when you get in situations like this. You've got to be able to convert at the free throw line.
A pair by Alvin West. Bucks by 15 with 1:30 to go, and there's Les Robinson. Boy, he's intense.
This is what coaching is all about. All the hard work pays off when you win the championship.
Andre Cunningham misses a three. Keller with a rebound. And a foul on Marshall. A minute 19 to go. There's Rick Huckabee. 12-2 in the Civic Center in Asheville, but unless a miracle happens over the next minute 19 seconds, they're going to be 12-3.
Rick Huckabee, an outstanding coach, has never had a losing season, and he had to get to the finals of this tournament to keep that string intact. They'll end up at 15-15, but still never had a losing season as a coach.
Well, you look at the top 10 winningest coaches, still active coaches in the country. Rick Huckabee's name is there, along with the likes of Dean Smith, John Thompson, Tarkanian. You name it, boy, he's up there. He's had a successful career in 6 seasons at Marshall.
Very impressed with the Marshall program, and they really were a close-knit group, as is East Tennessee State. Very impressed with how close both these teams and coaches are.
The 17-point Marshall lead. John Taft has been fabulous for the Herd. He misses that shot. They fight for the rebound. It's a foul against Scott Williams of Marshall. And we play out the string here in the final few seconds in Asheville.
That was on number 14, Scott Williams, his fourth.
4 on Williams. We go to the other end, and East Tennessee icing that victory cake for Les Robinson here in Asheville.
It's taken a while, but look at that. Little celebration by Les Robinson. You don't think he's excited?
Les coached at the Citadel for 11 years. He's been at Johnson City at East Tennessee State for the past 4 seasons. He's the Buccaneers athletic director. He's been around this league a long time. Dennis nails the first free throw.
Les Robinson, really a class act.
He's talking to his players right now. Dennis with 15 tonight. He's had a good game. He hasn't dominated, but he's played well. A couple of free throws. It's a 19-point East Tennessee lead, and the Bucks are on their way to the NCAA. Williams 3, short. Talford up the floor. Here's West with the ball. Here's Keller. Lost it. The foul first by Andy Paul Williams.
Once again, Williamson, a regular on this team, going to get a nice look at the break. Keller's going to get it. Andy Paul Williamson does the only thing he can. Reaches in, called for the foul.
55 seconds left. Chad Keller coming in, and Les Robinson's clearing the bench. Everybody's getting the share in this one.
Well, we talked earlier about the 2 roads that these 2 teams had to go through to get to this tournament. East Tennessee State by far had the tougher road. They had 2 very close games to get here. Marshall, on the other hand, really controlled both the games that they had previous to the championship game. And East Tennessee State's gotten to feel this is a very rewarding type of situation for them.
East Tennessee State in control of this game. 90-71. They led by 2 at the half. And the second half has been all theirs, and you can point to Mr. Jennings to be the man who ignited that fuse. Keller nails another free throw. It's a 20-point Buccaneer lead. And on the other end, there's Rick Huckabee, whose team suffered through a lot of obscurity toward the last part of the year, losing 7 of 8 at one stretch. But they fought back to make it to this championship game, and they are assured of not having a losing season for Rick Huckabee.
That really says a lot when you are in the coaching profession as long as Rick Huckabee's been. Not to ever have a losing season says you're a good coach. You know what you're doing.
55 seconds left in this one. East Tennessee by 21. A whole host of substitutes in the ball game for both teams. This is Tim D'Agostine at 5'7". He's the same size as Keith Jennings. Love to see those guys guard each other. Michael Woods drops it off to Steve Cox to West for the layup in East Tennessee. That's Lavelle Webster. There's a good story. Lavelle Webster is a senior, is a sophomore a couple of years ago. He started for East Tennessee State to show you how great the talent influx has been for the Buccaneers. Webster gets the rebound. Steve Cox for three. 16 seconds left in this one. The championship game of the Southern Conference. Brian Fish nails the jumper for Marshall with 9 seconds left. Rodney Jones. The clock is running out. Jones with a slam at the buzzer. And East Tennessee State is on its way to the NCAA tournament. For that man, Les Robinson, they have beaten Marshall 96-73 to win the championship of the Southern Conference. The Buccaneers' 20th win of the year. East Tennessee State wins it 96-73 over Marshall right now. Let's go back to John Saunders.
Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen. East Tennessee State, a big winner over the Thundering Herd of Marshall. So they advance to the NCAA tournament, becoming the 4th team this weekend to do so. The first team to